Want to see me? I got you though. Want to see me?
Yeah, first I would like to make a statement concerning the motion that was made at the June 15th meeting as recorded in the minutes, where we asked that this meeting on July the 20th be held as a budget meeting and to pay the bill. And that didn't happen. So now we're faced with the agenda. And it is my desire to make motions on this evening to remove certain items from the agenda so that we can get to the budget. Anybody else got anything? I mean, as far as my comment, because it's a comment.
Alderwoman Smith.
That was a piece of mine. Some of mine were the bills. I'm confused on how the bills are compared to how the bills were during the previous meeting that we met. I'm trying to pull up the check numbers along with the actual bills themselves so I can speak on them and we all can find them on what page, things like that. Some of these bills were split into two bills and now they're combined into one. So I'm lost and confused because there were two checks written previously where now I'm assuming there's one check written. So what happened to the previous two checks? But let me find the bill before I speak out of turn. But I agree. I thought this meeting was strictly going to be about the budget. As we are utilizing last year's budget, I thought we would go through the budget so we could operate on this year's budget as well as so we won't be behind like we were in our previous audits. It was just my thoughts, but let me find this bill that I'm talking about. That was all I had.
Okay. Dales. Alderwoman Dales. Unmute yourself.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, I'm in agreement with Board President James that we amend the agenda and we don't want any surprises. So we have some whatever he's going to amend, I'm in agreement with that. So we can move forth with the budget so we can get the staff that we need in the budget and other things that we need so we can move forward.
Or anyone else before I make my statement? Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Oh, did someone say something?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi.
Yeah,
This is for the board to deliberate. It's not for citizens now. This is our pre-meeting. Okay, come on in. She can just sit. She can just sit here. Here's the agenda. And so I appreciate the sentiments of the motions being made last meeting. The chairman has the ability to set the agenda, and with the recent occurrences of storms, two that have ravaged the city, I thought it was important that we activate our boards, which could be helpful in those emergency type of occurrences that could happen, as well as I am in agreement with the essential employees that I'm looking to hire, which are in the budget. And so we voted to operate on the existing budget until that can happen. So we do have a budget in place that we can operate on. I think addressing the most pressing issues first, which is we just had these storms. We have to talk about putting more money or allocating more money for tree services, also for additional staff to help with that. Hold on just a moment. Yes. You can leave that door open too. Also, I'm in agreement with, we do need to start on the audit, but nothing is prohibiting audit other than our director does need additional help. And that's why I've asked the board to approve the pay scale for the assistant finance director, so we can get that person hired and get started on the budget. So not having this year's budget is not prohibitive because we can operate off of the current budget. Okay, Alderman Thomas. Alderman
Yes,
Thomas.
the board unanimously on June the 15th agreed that this meeting on July the 20th would just be for the budget and to pay the bill. Understanding that storms happen, but there is so much stuff on this agenda that we wouldn't even get to the budget if we did this agenda tonight.
Well, it all depends on how long we take. Board appointments don't take that long. It's just a matter of looking at the names and voting yes or no.
So
that could be all of 2 minutes. Or
So
3
my question is,
Mhm.
if the board makes a motion and the motion carries, and that's what's supposed to happen, and it doesn't happen, why?
Because the chairman has the ability to set the agenda, and by all means, the board of alderperson also has the ability to amend. So if you want to amend the agenda, that can be done, but the chairman still has the authority and the ability to set the agenda. The motion passed or not. And the board still has the authority to amend. So what I'm hearing is that the board wants to amend the present agenda, and that's fine because you have that authority. I want to encourage us to take a moment to look at what's needed in this present climate. And the immediate needs, number one, is for assistant finance director, so we can start on our audit on time. The pay scale was done by our treasurer, and he has verified that those funds are available in this present budget. So that's not prohibitive. It's just a matter of voting for the pay scale. The Public Safety Commission would have been very helpful if we had people active that could have helped in calling out volunteers to help with our first storm and our second storm. If it had been major, we don't have a city safety plan. We don't have people who are certified in the citizen emergency response training. We could have needed that. And we do need to have it activated because there are more storms that can happen at any time. So I'm just looking at the things that's important for the government to continue to operate in a timely and proficient manner. Our street department needs money allocated in order for us to take down additional trees. These are things that I emailed early on, Alderwoman Dale, to your point. I don't have any surprises. That's why I had them emailed out a week or so ago, so that you would have the things that I'm asking the board to approve so we can move forward. Alderwoman Hester and then Alderwoman Dales.
I was looking at the agenda here and based on some of the comments that were made as far as the recent storms that we've had, there's a lot of down trees, branches, a lot of work throughout the city. And I think amending the agenda to handle some of the things that's on the agenda is important because it's gonna take more than what we have to do the work that's needed throughout the city. So that additional money for laborers to help with the public works department, to help with them, I think that's necessary. And then it's so that we don't get behind like we have been, like we kind of are now. If we need a finance director, why not? Let's do that. And then get the positions filled for the commission boards so we can get to the business of the city. Why are we holding up? I don't understand. And I know that the budget is important and we need to do that. But like was mentioned, is it a concern to anybody that for the names that people that has been put out there on the resumes for people that want to be on the commission boards? I looked over it. I looked over the resumes, the ones that were provided. Not all resumes were provided, but for the people that did provide the resumes, it was pretty extensive, and they've been in the community for a number of years. Actually, all of them that want to be on different commission boards. So if we have to amend the agenda, let's amend the agenda so we can get to business. That's just my comment.
Alderwoman Bell.
Okay, the first thing is that we do know we need to get someone to help Lori. However, we can always utilize our temporary service to give her some help now, and that's in the budget. So if it's of urgency, we have a bill that's on the agenda now where we use our temporary service. So we can hire a professional person with the temporary service until we complete the budget. The other thing is when the things that are important or probably going to stay on the agenda, we just want to get to those, get to the budget so we can get our budget completed that was due June 30th. So I don't think we're talking about the things that President may amend the agenda for. We just want to hurry up, get to the important things. And also, I would like to ask the board, I spoke with Mr. Kelly of the Municipal League, and I shared with him some of the things that we're dealing with as a board. And he did come and speak with us before. He said that he can do a training session. I have the dates, one moment. He said he can come August 21st, 22nd, or 23rd for a training session for the Board of Aldermen. And that will be before the next meeting, that he can give us some type of guidance and help. So I would like to ask the board what day would be good for you, which will be a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and it will be a training session for the Board of Aldermen. So with that being said, Mayor Tapman, we know that we want to complete the audit. So we do have a temporary service that is available because it's constantly said, even on social media, that it's urgent. So we can use that temporary person until the budget is done, because we want to make sure that we get this right. And we have to get the trees taken care of. We have to. So we can use a temporary service for both of those items. And then we don't have to rush through the budget, make some mistakes, add the things that we want, do everything that we want to utilize we have. And the purpose of having a motion, and I'll reflect to the attorney on this, the purpose of having a motion is to declare something for a particular short term. And if the board votes unanimously for that, that should be done. It's asked, the legislating body is saying, these are the things that we want done. And it's a motion, and it's for a temporary state. It's to get something done or to have something done for a period of time. So I will refer to Attorney Dorothy and she can let me know if I'm correct or not.
Well, good evening, everyone, first of
Good
all.
evening.
If I understand your question, Alderwoman Dales, you are referring to the fact that the board voted not to include anything other than the budget on this agenda? Is that the essence of your question?
Yes, the budget and the bills, and we understand and we know that things come up. We understand that the trees, that's something that's urgent. But all the other items that are put on the budget, that's put on the agenda, like the commissions, and that's what Mr. Kelly is gonna be very specific about. We're not saying that we don't want to do that. We're not. We're just saying we have to get the agenda done because it should have been done June 30th. And we don't want any distractions. We want to get that done. We want to add, we want to do everything that's needed to be done for our community. We got to work on our budget so we won't be late with our budget, just like we were with our audit. So it's some things that even with the grant, until we get our budget done, we can't even apply for grants. So if we make a motion and everyone votes yes for the motion, it should be honored. And that's my question.
All right, and I do understand your question, and you're absolutely right. However, the flip side of that is what the mayor just stated. At the time, you all made the motion regarding the budget and the bills. There were not these other pressing and pending issues. And so as the mayor, who has the authority to set the agenda, she included those matters on the agenda. So you've got a natural conflict here. The board voted one thing, but because she is the authority that has the power to set the agenda, she looked at what was going on in the city and what was required in her best judgment and made an agenda that reflected those things. But as she said earlier, the board can always amend that agenda. But as the authority who sets the agenda, her position was that she thought these things merited
Just say it.
being on the agenda.
And we respect that. Just back to we respect that. However, the only thing that's on our agenda is the liquor license, the trees that's overtaking the budget that'll probably be left on there. Or an item. After we have this meeting, hopefully it'll be a lot because that's who.
You're cutting out.
You're muted.
You're cutting out.
I'll just go. You hear me?
Yes, it's straight now. It went muted for a minute. You froze now. Are you froze? Is she froze?
She's freezing.
Yeah.
Okay, she's back.
Okay. Alderwoman Smith, and then I'll make a statement after to address Alderwoman Smith.
Thank you. So some of the comments that you made, I'm just a little perplexed on when you mentioned the tree services and the storms. Would that not be a part of the budget? I would assume it would be, considering it would incur the city with some financial cost of cutting back trees, labor, employees who are essential, things like that. So are we not going to discuss the budget?
Well, the budget is on with those items. If you look at the full agenda, those two items are on there as well. Extra money for trees cutting and the essential employees. I want to address the statement concerning a temp service We're not going to use a temp service. We have applicants that apply. We have chosen applicant who is more than qualified for the position. And again, we have checked with our treasurer to ensure that the money for the position is in the current budget that we're operating off of now. So that's in the budget as well. And again, nothing was taken off that the board asked for. The budget and the bills are on the agenda. The other essential items was added as we look at from a viewpoint of being here on a daily basis what's needed. Now, to that point, we did contract Davy Tree Service, who we have worked with in the past, to come in and help clear some of our streets. Today, they cleared all of Ward 4 along with our guys and the far north end of Ward 1. Tomorrow, Davy Tree Service and our staff will start clearing on the middle section of Ward 3 and Ward 2. That corridor was hit really hard. We started on that first after the storm. That was the first place we started. So again, I think we should look at not being at an impasse, but coming together. Nothing was taken away from what the board wanted, but the things that the government sees that's needed was added. And what I'm asking is, as we go through this exercise tonight, that we come together and vote on all of those things, because they all are immediate things that are needed. The budget, we're going through the budget, but we are operating off of the current budget, which is adequate if we don't get through it. And again, we have an applicant that's ready to start work, have a plethora of experience, and we want to move forward. Is any, I see someone in the chat. Hold on. Is my screen now freezing? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
At one point it did freeze. I just want to put that in there because if I missed something, I think mine was freezing as well. So
Yeah.
that's all.
Okay, Alderman Thomas, your hand is up.
Yes, not to belittle the time, but we need to, what would be the problem with, at this point, using a temporary service, since we need to have an assistant finance director?
Well,
What-
because we have an applicant, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and we know we have an applicant, but at the same time, it's not within this year, the budget that we're working on. That money has not been appropriated. So to go ahead, since it is a pressing issue for us to get an assistant for Laurie to call the temporary service, find a qualified person and get them in there. Because and again, I'm only one person, but I think that that would help now.
Well, and that's a good point. And we have a candidate that's more than qualified. Going to a temporary service right now would add on to the time that's needed. My question is, the applicant that you received has extensive qualifications. Why wouldn't we want to hire her? Because the same money, I think, is counterintuitive to go to a temp service when we have an applicant available that's qualified. And again, that's extra money. And again, I've checked with Treasurer Radman, who stated that the finances for the assistant director is available in this present budget. So again, I think counterintuitive, using money for temp service, and we have identified a qualified person. I think being stewardship over our money, a temp service versus a person that we have identified that's qualified. Alderwoman Hester, your hands up. You're muted.
Actually, I'd like to yield my time to Alderwoman Smith. I think she had her hand up before me. I'll go after her.
Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Smith.
So I found two of the bills that I was discussing earlier. So because some of this stuff is missing, I would like to amend the amendment to the agenda in regards to the bills and have a special session for those. There are bills for very first page, which is part of the Arts Lawnmower Shop. There are 6 bills total. There's only 3 pages that were provided. So we are missing bills that are $64.50, $39, $36. I mean, the ledger does not match the bills or sheets that were provided. I do understand some of those were under the 500s, but at the end on the ledger, it provides a total which would be more than 500. So there are some others as well.
So let me understand what you're saying, because we took extensive time and went through this ledger. So you're saying in your packet that you have checks that have no supporting documentation.
That's correct. And I can provide you with the amounts in the check or the invoice number that is on the ledger, but there's no bill.
It's on the ledger, but there's not a bill
Receipt.
attached.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's quite a few.
Well, something must have happened. Is everyone's packet? Because I looked at the packet myself. Our city clerk is on, Ms. Timmy. Also double check. So is everyone's packet like that or just one?
I have the same packet that she had.
And so you have bills that are missing, no receipts.
Correct.
And this is in the email form, right? Not the printout.
Correct.
That
So
Okay.
correct. When I go through arts, I'm gonna start there. Arts, lawn. What's the name of it? I want to get it correct.
The line company.
Yes, it is called. Scroll all the way back to the top. Arts Lawnmower Shop. That's where the bills begin. It starts with check number 46096. That's where the bills begin.
Right.
It's page 1 of 63. If you count just the actual bills, there's only 3 bills in the supporting document. I'm talking 3 receipts, 3 bills. But when you look at the ledger, you are provided a bill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 bills and invoices that range from C035292A all the way to 5B like Baker to
Yes.
80618. Some of those are missing. So if you only have 3 bills, you have 6 checks. I'm needing some documents, or I'm confused. What am I taking away, or where are the rest of the bills? So that's why I'm asking for a special session instead of going through each bill or providing, hey, what's missing out of each company.
So
Could it be in a separate, could it be in a separate email?
I've gone through them. I've even downloaded them to compare.
No. I'm trying to figure out, I see Arts Lawnmower Shop and it's 5 bills here. You're saying 6?
There are 5 on the ledger, but 3 supporting bills.
Okay, which ones are missing?
So it's the one that is 3936.
6450.
Let me go back. 3936, 6450.
Okay.
I have 2419. I have 185.99, and I also have 116. I do not have 202. I'm sorry, that's AT&T. Those are the only two that's missing. So it's 5 bills. I'm sorry, not 6.
Okay.
And the total was 430.04 is what's on the ledger.
Right.
So there's 2 supporting documents missing, which would be before AT&T on your bill ledger. So there are some others, and I want to be cognitive of everyone's time. That's why I'm asking, can we have a different session to pay the bills? I would like to pay the bills. The bills need to be paid, but there seems to always be issues either with the check number, missing something. And I totally get it, but they need to be accurate when we're talking city funds. Also, it is 7, and thank you, citizen. It is 7:32, and I want to be cognitive of everyone's time.
Yes. Okay. Hey, is anybody else's screen still freezing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Yes,
it-
I mean, when Alicia
Anybody else?
was freezing.
I'm froze for
Really-
you all. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, because our technical difficulties on all ends, it seemed like. It is now 7:32. We want to move into our general board meeting. We're ending up the pre-meeting. If you make a note that we ended at 7:32, City Clerk. Good evening to all citizens. Before we start the meeting, we want to set some precedents on how the meeting will flow. If during citizens' comment, you have a comment, please raise your hand. We're going to do our best to recognize everyone. Everyone gets 3 minutes, with the exception of Director Lane. She gets 5 because she will be sharing information about our school district. So she gets the same 3 minutes as all citizens, and then 2 minutes to share those cognitive things, the very important things for our school district. Is that okay, everybody? Okay, again, raise your hand when we get to that point. I am now calling the meeting to order. We don't have Pledge of Allegiance. We don't have a flag, but if we can just quote the Pledge of Allegiance for the record. I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance
the flag
of the United States of America and to the
and to the
republic
Republic
for which it
which it
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
Under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice.
justice for all.
justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Hester,
here,
Alderwoman Mornis,
Here.
Alderman Thomas,
Present.
Alderwoman Regina Harmon Ward. Where's she at?
Regina, she was.
She's on mute.
Mute yourself, Regina.
Present,
Alderwoman Dales. Alderwoman Dale, she's here, but
She's pro, there she.
Alderwoman Dale,
Present.
Alderwoman Smith.
Present.
Right, Mayor, we have a quorum.
Just for the record, Alderwoman Van Surgen has been excused and Chief Eiler has been excused, as well as our Public Works Director, Director Jeff Ross has been excused from this meeting. Meeting open to the public. Remember, everyone has 3 minutes. If everyone else, including me, I'm getting ready to mute myself as well. If everyone else would mute yourself. Open to the public.
Hello?
Good. Marcy Gooden, and if everyone would still, I'm sorry, make sure you state your name and your address, please. Ms. Gooden? Marcy?
I'm coming off mute, sorry.
That's okay.
Marcy Good, 9421 Dinky Drive. I just want to make three comments, but I first want to say, I know the chief is not on. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had probably a lot of activity just in our community, not in a specific ward, but in our community. And as the chief, the police, the board of aldermen ask citizens to call the non-emergency number and report activities, just stressing that. Sometimes citizens ask for a call back. And I have never experienced not getting a call back, but there have been on 4 occasions that I have specifically given my name, callback number, and an officer has not called me back. And to me, that's a problem. And unfortunately, Chief is excused, but that was my question to him tonight. I really want to understand the expectation, because the city need us as citizens to report something. And then we do that due diligence, but we don't get callbacks. And I'm not asking for a call the same day. It could be 24 hours just to give me an update, but I have never gotten a call back. And that's a little frustrating to me. So I wanted to share that. Overall, I just want to say, I want to thank our public works department. There have been trees everywhere, so we appreciate their services and however we can support as citizens. And then lastly, I know there is a lot on the agenda regarding budgets and commissions. I am just hoping that our current mayor and our board can kind of figure out common ground, learn how to play in the sandbox together and figure this out, but also respect each other's positions. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Karen? Up here.
E?
Yes.
Oh, hi, good
See your
evening.
last name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Karen Green, 905 Surrey Lane. And my question is about, is there a city ordinance against parking on the grass? There's an issue on our block. We have neighbors that entertain and they park on the grass constantly. My husband and I have both talked to the occupant several times, and yes, I'm sorry, and it won't happen again, but it continues to happen. And also now it's become a triple effect, because now there are other people further down the street when they entertain that they are parking on the grass.
Yes, thank you. We do have an ordinance. Grass, and now have a code enforcer that will be helping us to enforce our ordinances, and she has been doing a terrific job thus far.
Okay, so in that case, so what do I do when that happens? Like Saturday it happened and she was entertaining. So I called her on the phone and just asked her, could she have her people to move their cars off my lawn?
Well, our code enforcement, Felicia, could you unmute yourself and share information, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you? Sorry, I logged in a little late. If you would give me if you would shoot me an email, my email is fbishop@cityofbn.com. When I come into the office, I can take a look at it. Typically, how I've been handling those is sending out nuisance letters with a 24-hour deadline to remove the vehicles off the line. Then I dispatch it out to the police department. After I dispatch it out to the police department, it becomes their issue because I'm not allowed to deal with anything that requires a license plate.
Okay, so in my case, the cars are only there for a few hours. You know, once the party ends, then they all leave. So it's not like that the car is there overnight.
What I would do in that case is I would call the non-emergency number and see if a police can be dispatched out so they can address it while the party is going on. Because it really it's almost impossible to enforce if it's not something that's happening where it's being a regular occurrence, where the vehicle is there overnight, where I could drive by and take pictures and upload it so we can see that this is a repeat thing that's happening from the actual occupants of the home, not their guests.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms.
You're welcome.
Favor, because we're trying to stay within 3 minutes, dear. If you would email our code enforcer, she'll be more than happy to continue this conversation. We'll try to get you some relief on that matter. Okay, I'm sorry. You went a little bit over, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Nelson?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bryant Nelson. Address is 937 Marias Drive. I just have a comment regarding the budget, and that is extremely important that, you know, we have a current budget, but also there are things that also need to be taken care of at the same time. And I'm not understanding why things cannot be done simultaneously, where you can have the budget conversation and take care of that, but also take care of some of the issues that are at present hand. Even though we want to have things done in a certain particular order, things come up that supersede some things sometimes. And so we need to be able to operate in both fashions. And far as using a temp service for a finance or assistant finance director, I think that is basically a waste of time when you have a qualified person ready to be hired. And if we're saying we're operating under the budget from 2022 and the funds were available in that budget, there's no reason why that person cannot be hired because the funds are already allocated for that position. When you use a temp service, you're bringing someone in that you have to train how Bell Fountain does their business. And then once that person is let go and you hire a permanent person, you have to turn around and train them also. So you wasted time when you had a qualified person there to begin with that you just could have hired. And I think it's almost like a power struggle between the board and the mayor. And we're all grown. And we're not operating with the best interest of the citizens and the city of Bell Fountain. There's no reason why both cannot be done simultaneously. A assistant finance director is an essential worker. So they should be able to be hired. And we're going back and forth on the city administrator. And that ordinance was approved March 15, 2018. And also several board of alderwomen, men, and alder persons have made motions just this year to hire a city administrator. And now we're pulling straws on we can't get this done or the money is needed somewhere else. But twice this year. I went back and read the notes from the meetings twice this year. It has been motioned to hire a city administrator. So why can't we get it done? That's too much that's not being done and too much arguing back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. She's doing good to keep time for us because we want everyone to get an opportunity to speak. iPhone 13 Pro Max 2. I don't know who that is, but you were next. iPhone 13 Pro Max 2.
Yeah, that's me.
Would you give your name and your address?
My name is Zach. My name is Zach Zabi, and the address is 10320 Bell Fountain, the Conoco gas station. And I got 3 beautiful kids, and I'm trying to do. I just hope whenever it was closed down, and I opened that place, open it back for the community. And I'm trying to get my liquor license, and I've been waiting for 5-6 months. So that's all I gotta say.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clarence, you're next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I've talked, and I'm sorry that the chief is not on here, but I've
Can you
talked.
give your full name, please, and
Oh,
address?
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Clarence Wilson, 1266 St. Cyr Road. I'm sorry that the chief is not on here, but I've talked with him on a number of occasions about the speeding over here on St. Cyr. And I'm sure throughout Bell Fountain, there's a lot of speeding going on. But one of the things that's happening now is that, especially when the schools are back open, the cars that are headed toward 367, towards where the used to be Shop and Save, or where the subway is, they're starting to, because the traffic light catches them and the line gets a little bit long and it's backed up just past my house, they're starting to go around the double yellow lines. And I know on a couple of occasions there was some close calls where they could have run head on with someone. Now I've shared with the chief the various times that it seems the speeding seems to pick up, but I have yet to see any of the officers come and spend a few minutes, observing the traffic. I believe that's one of the purposes of our law enforcement officers, is to help to curb any accidents or any problems. And I just don't understand why they cannot spend 3 to 5 minutes sitting here on St. Cyr at different times throughout the week, throughout the day. And I have addressed it with the chief on a number of occasions, and I shared with him the speed that people are doing, and I know the speed because I've clocked it myself, not standing out in the street pointing no radar gun at anybody, but I've done it to check the speed of some of the vehicles. And some of the vehicles are doing 45, 50 miles an hour in a 25-mile zone. And I'm right across from the cemetery here. So I'm really quite concerned that this is getting worse instead of, and I don't understand why they don't have the time to come and spend along St. Cyr here and just to discourage speeding. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Lee.
Me?
Next? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
hi, I'm Michael Mink. I live at 9811 Bell Fountain Road with Jackie Mink, my wife, and our dog Oliver. I just want to express my appreciation for this openness. I've always felt like a transparent government is an honest government, and I hope this continues. So I'll just be quiet and listen unless I have a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mink. Clifford Royal, you're next. Mr. Royal. He disappeared. Okay, we'll wait for him to come back. iPhone 177. iPhone 177. You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm Sherry Anderson Morton, 10387 Ashbrook for 27 years, captain of my neighborhood. My thing is, I'm concerned about the squatters. Why do it take so long to get the squatters out the house?
May, may I answer that, Mayor?
Yeah,
Yes, you may.
anybody can answer it. I don't care
Okay,
who else.
okay, this is Felicia Bishop.
Okay, Felicia, hi.
I'm fine. How are you? The
I'm
reason
blessed.
it takes so long to get squatters out of the house is because first, legally, we have to contact the owner of the property and make them aware first that there is a squatter on the house, in the house. Then that owner has to actually give us permission to remove the squatter. We have to do that by way of administrative warrant. So that takes a little time. And then the tricky part is because it seems like when COVID hit, squatters develop more insight on rights. So if you go into, if we get called out and I gain entry to a house where there's a squatter, if that squatter actually has, just say for instance, a small couch in the living room area, they are considered a resident. A lot of people don't know that. So then you pretty much are faced with the part of you have to then try and go through an eviction process, which has to be handled between the owner and the now resident, which we know is a squatter.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, so me, situation that I was relating to, the mom moved and left the son there at the house, took all her
I think I
furniture.
know. Are you speak? I think I know what house you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am, you probably do, because I stayed on it and we wrote a petition up and tried to contact Elliot Davis and everything. But my thing is, it's so many slum landlords, and no disrespect to nobody.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
he know that, that the mom left and left the son there. And no couch. He took all her furniture, that was what was left. And it went on and on. Trash was piled up. I had possums, raccoons, field mice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I like I said, I've been there 27 years. I ain't had a problem with nobody, and everybody knows me, the police and everything, from the gym when I work out, my water classes, et cetera, whatever I do down there. And I just wanted to know. That's all. I mean, I'm not,
And you're on Ashbrook, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Right on the corner.
I know exactly what house you're talking about. I just started a month ago. I've tagged that house. I've started
Oh yeah, they did tell me you was rough like me. They said, yeah, Miss Felicia, you need to meet her, Sherry. They did say that.
I tagged the home. The guy has taken the tags off. I reached out to the owner of the house. We're supposed to be going through the process now of, once we get the documentation, we're going to
Felicia, you guys are going over my time.
Okay, well,
Okay,
that's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
I'll come see you tomorrow, Miss Felicia. There's no problem. I'll come see you. God bless you all, and y'all have a good night. I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll get that done for you.
Now, Clifford, Mr. and Mrs. Clifford, we found you back online. You're next. Clifford, we lost him again. Royal, oh, there you are. You're on mute. We still can't hear you. We see you, but we can't hear you. We still can't hear you. We'll let them keep working on sound. We have Director Lane, your hand is up. You have 3 minutes for city comments and 2 minutes to bring us up to date on our school district.
I don't think it'll take that long, Mayor.
Okay.
Regarding the, well, there are 4 items that I would just like to inform the community regarding the school district. Number 1, we have received an increase in our S&P rating to a triple B. and that happened 2 weeks ago. We're ecstatic about that. Some of the reasons that they cited were stability in management, which is always very important, and how well we are managing our finances. So I'd like the community to know that we are improving in the S&P world. The second thing I want to talk about is the Back to School Bash, which is coming on August 1. It's going to be at the high school. Parents and scholars from all schools can get information regarding the school year, meet school staff. If anyone participated in the Back to School Bash we had last year at the high school, it was a whole lot of fun. And we're going to have food trucks there and everything. So we encourage you to come out to that. And that starts at 4, I believe, on Tuesday, August 1st. Just another tad bit of information, our superintendent received the Henry Givens Jr. Leadership Award that was presented by the Royal Vagabonds Foundation at the 12th Annual Leadership Awards Luncheon last month. So those are the things regarding the school district. We are still moving forward. Regarding city information, I echo Citizen Gooden regarding working together. I know I'm sounding like a broken record because it seems like I've made that plea to every board that's presented themselves to the community since, I don't know, for the last 8 years. But we really hope that you guys take that into consideration. Number 2, regarding the city manager, I heard the citizens say that earlier this year there were votes in one way versus the other way. The important thing to remember about that is there was a change in administration. And so I'm not sure under which administration there was the support for the city administrator or not. We got into the weeds with that, and there's no sense in rehashing it. But I'm just curious how the money has suddenly appeared when we just didn't have it, but we have. And I still will repeat my comments from the last meeting. I asked for the board to please name some services that the city was providing for its citizens. And I haven't seen it. Now, albeit this storm is a service, I would hate to think that we would have to wait until a storm comes before we receive city services. So, and my last point, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused on the statements that I'm hearing about additional staff to help remove storm damage versus is that person actually going to be on the staff forever or until their employment runs out. And I'm a little confused. Is that a temporary thing or is that a permanent thing? Thank you so much, City Clerk.
Now the Royal.
Hopefully we got this. Can you hear us now?
Hey, we can hear you now.
Thank you. Good evening, Stephanie and Clifford Royal, 900 Coaching 6. I have a question and a comment. I just wanted to know when will we be getting a second alderperson in Ward 1? Apparently right now we just have Ms. Hester, and we have not been appointed a second person for this ward, and each ward is supposed to have 2 alderpersons. So that was the question. The other one was a comment. I do agree with the gentleman when he talked about using a temp service. I think that that is a waste of time and a waste of money. Please keep in mind when you hire a temp, that is, you have to pay them. But if you decide to hire that person permanently, you have to pay the temp service for that individual. So that's money that the city is going to be spending I don't think that that is a good representation of stewardship over our tax dollars. So that was my comment. And please, I'd like for someone to answer my question about the appointment in Ward 1. Thank you.
Yes, and what I'll do I'll answer that because that appointment is again made by the mayor with the approval of the board. I want to get through all the citizens, and when I get to my report, I'll address that. Is that okay? Okay, Mr. Green.
Yes, Anthony Green. Thank you, Anthony Green.
welcome.
Address is 9228 Ward Off. To be clear, a city administrator, in my opinion, is not essential if the city never had one in our 73 years of existence. I understand we would like to have one, but I think everybody needs to attend all of these meetings. They need to look at the FY19, the FY20, and the FY21 audit reports, specifically that mention some concerns about our accounting department as it relates specifically to the expertise and experience of those in the accounting department in those years. If you look at the schedule of findings of the independent auditor's report on internal controls over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards, you will see that our auditor, Sikich, for 3 years straight, had very serious concerns about the education, the experience, and expertise of the accounting staff. And so I'm not really clear that hiring a temp is going to resolve the problem, because I believe the root problem is the finance director. And that's me saying that as a Missouri State Board of Accountancy CPA. I think if you have some conversations with our treasurer, who is Rick Rognan, and if you can get a hold of Sikich, you will see that they have concerns about the experience and education and expertise of the accounting staff. There are comments coming on the audit report relating to bank reconciliations not being done timely, one, and sometimes not even being done correctly. And if the bank accounts aren't being done correctly and on time, how are we able to detect errors and misstatements? And that's one of the major things that, again, show up on the FY19, FY20, and FY21 report. I'm looking forward to the closed session that the board of 7 and the mayor will have regarding the finance director. I think there's some persistent concerns about, again, her education and experience that need to be discussed behind closed doors. I think there's some serious risks to the city that need to be addressed on that. Back to the city administrator. I'm really interested in hearing the salary that we're going to be paying the city administrator. My guess, and I don't have the numbers, it's going to be somewhere between $90,000 to $130,000. If you're going to find somebody less, congratulations, but I want to see what the numbers are, because to me, the math ain't mathing. We need an HR clerk or an HR manager or HR specialist to handle the 45 plus employees the city has. There's some significant business risks that need to be addressed yesterday regarding HR compliance issues and concerns in the city. We need an HR specialist for that. And we haven't had one, and we really don't have one on staff who's a bona fide HR specialist. Allegedly, the street department needs 2 people, or well-paid laborers, to do the work. We have a persisting vacancy in the public works department because the wage rates for new hires is below market and unappealing. And we need an HR specialist to recruit for these positions. We need someone to staff to do that. And if we have this money for a city administrator, which again, my guess is somewhere between 90,000 plus for that, why don't we have this HR person to help hire for positions that will help place for positions such as the laborer, such as the code enforcer that we now have. And thank you, Felicia, for joining on the team, but we should have had an HR specialist. And I think aldermen need to really look at getting one on the FY23-24 budget. And finally, I'm really disturbed that the chief auditor is not here. We've had between year over year, we've had an increase of over 150% and motor vehicle thefts increase, according to the spreadsheet that I gave all the Board of Aldermen. I wanted him to be here to speak on that, or at least tell me if my numbers are wrong based on the crime activity reports that he supplied. We had over 20 vehicles that were broken into, which probably will be classified as larceny if items were actually stolen. That was happened this week. I want to know, has Chief Eiler purchased the equipment that will look at how to, that will be able to determine, the patrolling of the city during these hours. It happened roughly between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m.-ish, or whatever day it happened. Chief Iler said he was going to buy some equipment that could be put on the actual police cars so he could be able to monitor and manage and control that process. I haven't heard anything about that. I want to say it was 1.5 years ago. There needs to be an RFP for that, and it needs to be in the budget. People can't afford to have this happen, and we need to know where all the officers on the graveyard shift, where they're supposed to be, doing the patrols they were supposed to do, if over 20 vehicles in a 3-hour span were broken into that night. That's a fair question. All 7 aldermen need to be asking that question. They need to get answers on that question. And finally, where is the overtime that overtime that the police?
Thank you, sir. You're over your time. We take your comments and your concerns very seriously. Thank you. Are there any other citizens? We have one here in the room. If you want to come, I don't know if they can see you. Well, you can if you want, but we have citizens in the room with me as well. So if you can say your name loud enough, there you go.
Hello, my name is Cherie Whitton. And my address is 1237 Ashford Drive. And I have a concern about the amount of power outages that we've been experiencing. I wanted to know if the city can do anything about the trees that's causing the damage, the ones that are, I guess, around the power lines. When I called the street department, they were explaining to me that they only take care of the ones that are in the front yard of the homes and within 12 feet from the middle of the street. I'm not concerned about those. I'm only concerned about the ones that's bothering the power lines. Every time I have a hard rain, I lose power. Twice in the month of July, I missed 4 days with no power. So I just wanted to know if the city or the alderman can do something about that. I have called Ameren and they just passed the buck, and I don't know what's going on with them, honestly, but they're not really doing anything. And they don't keep the citizens updated. You go to their website and they don't really tell you anything. And when you call customer service, they don't have any information. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else in the room? Anyone else online for citizens' comment? Okay, thank you. Let's move along in our agenda, which is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening, please?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Has been moved and second. Questions, please.
Did she just approve?
You can't approve
Yeah,
the
I can.
agenda and have a
second.
second. No,
Is she second too? No, she
yes,
can't do that.
She can't do that. Not legally.
I seconded
No.
it, but I had it on mute. So but I really did say second for the agenda.
Second, questions, please.
I have some questions.
Yes.
So as I was stating in the pre-meeting, in regards to the bills, I'm unsure of how we are voting to pay the bills when there are bills missing, there are checks written, but no bills. I'm a little perturbed about that. There are 11 companies that are on the ledger, but the bills are missing. That's an astronomical amount that has been paid out with no receipts. So I'm a little perturbed about that. Also, there are bills that are not on the ledger. So I'm confused on how they were paid. And again, this is an astronomical amount. I know you guys discussed a temporary company or in regards to helping the city in a specific capacity. However, I want to go on record with notifying the public, we recently just paid a bill to Stivers. So we do utilize temp agencies. Let's be clear. We do. There is a bill that, we're voting tonight in regards to the bills, and the amount is $266 for Stivers. It does not explain why this company was hired or what position it was for. I don't know, doesn't matter. But again, I just wanted to go on record to notify the public, we do utilize temp agencies. Outside of that, like I said, my biggest concern is I'm a little perturbed about the city's finances when it comes to paying the bills, and this stuff is not correct. I asked in the pre-meeting, can we have a special meeting to discuss the bills, because they're not accurate. I'm not comfortable. Thank you.
And I'm not comfortable either, so we will look at that. Stivers is a temp agency that was utilized before I took office. That was a temp service as well. So that's the bill that we're just now paying because we've only had one meeting this month. So other temp agencies that we use, I'm not privy of. I haven't discovered or looked for that, because that wasn't a priority to look for temp agencies, because we're looking for permanent employees. You make a good point with the bills. So are you saying you want to amend the agenda?
I would like to amend the amendment that was provided in the pre-meeting. I apologize, Board President. I do not recall all of your amendments, but when it comes to the bills, I would like to amend your amendment to discuss.
Well, let's vote. The first amendment, the first motion that's on the floor, let's vote for that one. And then we'll go to move to amend. So it didn't, it failed because we didn't get a second on, well, we got a second and then with your question. So let's vote on this first one first. So all of those who are in favor of approving the agenda, vote by aye. Take yourself off of mute or raise your hand.
I had my hand up.
Right. For a question, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to amend the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
We're making a motion. The first motion on the floor is to approve this one.
Right.
So let's go through, yes, let's go through the motion of approving or disapproving this one, and then we'll go through the second motion. So the motion on the floor is to approve the present agenda. We got
Mayor, can we have a roll call vote so we can, so everybody can hear?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And that's a good idea because the technology is going in and out. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll? This is for the first motion to approve the present agenda.
Alderman Warnes,
Yes.
Alderman Hester,
This is to approve the agenda. This
Yes.
current agenda, right? I know I made a motion now. Nope.
no?
No.
Alderman Thomas?
We gotta amend the agenda, so no,
No.
we need to amend.
Alderman Harmon Ward? Regina?
No.
Alderwoman Dales?
No.
Alderwoman Smith?
No.
Mayor's motion fails.
Okay, now we're going.
Mayor, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
To go out?
Yes, now you're
ma'am.
back.
Back. Okay, Alderman Thomas.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add to the agenda to the Board of Alderman meeting that we would adjourn this meeting at 9:15 p.m. Do you want me to read all the motions and we vote them all in a block? Or do you?
Yes,
want me to-
please.
Okay, a motion regarding all bank accounts for the city of Belle Fountain neighbors to add the signature of the president of the Board of Aldermen to all bank accounts. A motion from the Board of Aldermen regarding elected officials. Only elected officials will be seated on the dais as elected by the people of the city of Belle Fountain neighbors, and all others such as the police chief, directors, appointees will have a separate table for their use. Motion for current commissions, image and beautification, and planning and zoning to be present at the next board meeting, August 3rd, 2023, for reappointments. A motion for a closed session for Monday, July 31st, 2023 at 6 p.m. to discuss all pending legal matters, hiring and firing. And a motion to remove from tonight's agenda, number 9, under new business, approved pay scale for assistant finance director. This will be discussed during the 2023-24 budget session currently on the agenda. Remove item C under 9, appointments to the Board of Adjustments. Table this appointment until after the board meets in closed session regarding the legal matter. And motion to remove D and E to be discussed during 2023 budget session currently on the agenda. And
Okay, we need everyone to mute,
no money.
please.
I'm sorry.
No, I was saying we had some background noise, so I was
Yeah.
telling people to mute themselves.
The a motion to approve additional money, but that's on the agenda for the approval of the additional money for tree removal. But to remove.
Are you removing that or
No,
leaving that?
no, we leaving that. And we're removing additional money for labor worker for Public Works Department. We're gonna leave the liquor license for right now. And then remove items F, 10, 11, and 12. And we would take those reports as written for review from the code enforcer, the city engineer, and planning and zoning report. Reason for these amendments is so that we can get to the budget.
Okay, there has been a motion to remove all items under 9, item B, item C, item E. Also, under 10, 11, and 12. And items added were for a closed session on Monday, the 31st at 6:00 p.m. Also to have the Board of Beautification. And what was the other board?
Planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning. So you're omitting the other boards. Is that correct? For clarification?
Now, we're saying we want them at the next meeting for a point.
So you're leaving 8, A, and B on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so A and B is left on the agenda. Planning and zoning and beautification will come to the next scheduled meeting in August. And all reports are removed from this present agenda, leaving item F. Is that correct? So we're removing the pay scale for the finance director, correct?
Correct.
We're removing the appointments to the Board of Adjustment, correct? Is that correct? Alderman Thomas?
He's on mute.
You're
Yeah,
removing,
he did state that, and he did state that to after we come out of the closed session with the attorney.
take yourself off the mute, Alderman Thomas. And then
It's
you're
it's
taking,
after, right, it's after we come out of, Appointments to the Board of Adjustments. Table this appointment until after the board meets in a closed session regarding the legal matter.
Okay, and then you're taking off additional money for labor worker for Public Works Department?
Yes,
Okay. So those are essential things. I just want to make a statement. I'm gonna ask for a second, but those essential things in the state that we're in, we're removing again, prolonging time for the government to operate, number one, in compliance with federal and state finance laws. We are still out of compliance, having one person in that office with no oversight, as well as making our audits, pushing that time back. I just wanted that for the record. Now, can we have a second?
I second.
before the second,
I'm sorry?
now go ahead. After the second, I'll go for discussion because you left off the first three that I asked, that I made motions on.
I read them back to you, so we'll go back
No.
over.
It was add to the agenda, the board meeting to adjourn at 9:15.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
we'll add that on. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
And
Oh,
a
and I
mo-
forgot the other two, our other
Yeah.
two, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later in discussion because that's not a motion to. But it was a motion that only the elected officials would sit on the dais, and we'll discuss that later. And that the other directors will have a separate table. And that's a motion that the board is voting on, and we'll discuss that later. So we have all of those motions on the floor. Can we have a second, please?
Mayor,
I
before you
second.
take it, wait, you still missed one. It was add the board president to the bank account.
Right, and those things, the three items that we'll discuss after the meeting, we won't prolong the meeting because those are things that's in the preview and authority of the government to make those decisions. But so we'll have the motions noted on record, along with those are things that the government has authority that the board can't vote to usurp the authority of the government. I want that for the record. So can we have a second, please?
I have a second.
Thank you. Okay, it has been moved and second for all the motions. So Alderman Thomas, so they can be on the record. Can you state them yourself? So I won't miss any.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda, to add to the agenda, the Board of Alderman meeting to adjourn at 9:15 p.m. A motion regarding all bank accounts for the city of Belle Fountain neighbors, to add the signature of the president of the Board of Aldermen to all bank accounts. A motion from the Board of Aldermen regarding elected officials only will be seated on the dais as elected by the people of the city of Belle Fountain. All others, such as the police chief, directors, appointees, will have a separate table for vote. A motion for current commissions, image and beautification, and planning and zoning to be present at the next Board of Alderman meeting, August 3rd, 2023, for reappointments. A motion for a closed session for Monday, July 31st, 2023, at 6 p.m. to discuss all pending legal matters, hiring and firing. To remove number 9, new business. B, approve pay scale for assistant finance director. This will be discussed during the 2023-24 budget session currently on the agenda. Appointment C, appointments to the Board of Adjustments. Table this appointment until after the board meets in a closed session regarding the legal matter. Remove D and E to be discussed during 2023-24 budget session currently on the agenda. Approve addition. No, we're gonna keep D. E, additional money for remove additional money for labor workers for Public Works Department. Leave the liquor license on right now. Remove items F, 10, 11, and 12. That's the code enforcement, city engineer, planning and zoning reports. We will accept those reports for review as printed.
Okay, and it's been moved, motion made, second. And could we have a roll call vote for approval because of technology? Yes, I saw.
It was
Paper
me,
two.
Mayor.
Okay.
I wanted to again add my motion to amend the amendment for the open session meeting for the bills. We keep forgetting about these bills. I mean, they gotta
Right,
be
'cause they
paid.
do
I'm with
need-
you all, but they just
need to
can't
be
be paid.
Because these are bills from last month. We didn't have a month this month, so we are gonna incur some late costs. So let's talk about that. We need a special meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to make an amendment for a special meeting real soon, because
Yes.
again, these are bills from June
Yes.
that we have not paid. Okay, go
And some
ahead.
of them are from February. So,
Well, we have to pay them as we get the invoices.
right.
Right. Okay, go ahead and make your amendment, dear.
I would like to amend Board President Alderman Thomas's, all of his amendments to add a special meeting to discuss our current bills, check detail June 26, 2023 through July 2017, 2023 in a special meeting at a very soon date.
Okay, and let's set that date. Don't forget, we gotta get those letters out in time to get this done.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So all in favor, because we have technological difficulties, could we keep with the roll call method? Because we want to make sure we get them recorded. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Alderman Warnes,
No.
Alderman Hester,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Horman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
He's froze.
It's frozen.
Oh,
Alderman
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Alderman
yes.
Smith.
Yes.
All right, Mayor.
Mayor,
Boyd,
can I ask the attorney something, please, before we go to the next session? About your comment, yeah. Attorney, Dorothy White, the board makes a motion and the mayor states that we don't have the right. If it's my understanding, the legislation body is those that make the rules and the laws of the city in the Board of Alderman meeting. Is that a yes or a no? Or is it correct that we have no rights under our motions? For the record.
Alderwoman Dales, the answer to your question is, it depends on what the matter is. If you can be more specific about what you're talking about.
We're talking about, she said a lot of things that we're going to discuss later. So when we, I guess when we go to the meeting to pay the bills, we'll discuss for the record.
Yeah, if you could be more specific about what you're talking about, then I could answer the question.
If the board, I don't know what she means. I don't know which one she means. I don't know. If the board wants the board president to be on the checking accounts, that is the legislative right that the board can authorize.
Well, the answer to that question is that you have an ordinance that already specifies
exactly
who is to be on the bank account. And that ordinance is set forth as section 2-246. And it indicates that the checks for the city shall be signed by the city treasurer and city clerk and countersigned by the mayor. That's
and
what
when
your ordinance states.
And but the treasurer is not on them.
Well, I understand you've got
it
an
never has. So
inconsistent ordinance.
if the mayor is unavailable, that will only leave the city clerk. And it states in our ordinances that the board president has all rights.
No, it does not state that in your
Okay.
ordinances. The board president basically stands in the stead of the mayor.
Right, with all rights.
But the ordinance does not say that the board president shall be on the bank accounts. Now, I agree with you that that the city is not following its ordinance. And
Okay.
perhaps you should amend that ordinance if it's your desire to include the board president on there.
We will.
Okay.
And
So it passed, so I guess the next thing is to move on.
I want to make my statement because you said you weren't clear, Alderwoman Dales, and what I was saying was the legislative board does not have authority to usurp the authority of the government. And in that ordinance, it states, just as the attorney stated. So the authority that the government has, the legislative board can't legislate away. That's the authority that the government has. And that's what I was stating for the record. You can't legislate away the authority that the state statutes and the ordinance gives the mayor. That's all I was stating.
I totally agree with you.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, we are all elected officials and we all have equal rights. And we are the government.
And that's true, but
Okay.
there are demarcations, and we're not going to prolong it. There are
Right.
demarcations that state in state statute and our ordinance. That's all. We can discuss this later. Let's move on. Let's move on. So we have voted. Well, we've made the motions. Let's now vote on the amendment to the amendment of Alderman Thomas' motion to add a special meeting to pay the bills. If there's no more discussion, are there any other questions? If not, let's vote. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Alderman Warnes,
No.
Alderman Hester,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
4 yes, 2 no's, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move down then. Approval and invoices be stricken because of the motion. We're not improving invoices. Presentation of unapproved minutes for the Board of Alderman meetings for 6/15/23. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the unapproved minutes for the meeting from June 15th, 2023.
May I have a
Second.
second? Any discussion? No discussions? Can we keep on with the roll call? Madam Clerk?
Alderman Warnes,
No.
Alderman Hester,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor, 6 yes, 1 no.
Thank you. Now, under all this, I got it right. We got appointments to the Public Safety Commission. I want to give a motion that we make appointments to the Public Safety Commission. So there's no motion for that? That's one of the ones you guys left on the agenda. So there's no motion to approve?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the,
I would like to second.
Okay, it's been moved and second for appointments for Public Safety Commission. Are there any questions? Roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Alderman Warnes,
Yes.
Alderman Hester,
yes,
Alderman Thomas,
No.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
No.
Alderman Dales,
No,
Alderman Smith,
No,
4 noes, 2 yes, Mayor.
Okay, so that motion. We have reached out to serve. I'll be getting with you to give you the date for the meetings, for those meetings. So that motion failed. Motions to appoint to the Parks and Recreation Board. May I have a motion to appoint to the Parks and Recreation Board?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to the Parks and Recreation Board appointment.
And I have a second.
I need to be excused.
Moved and second. Are there any questions? Okay, no questions.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Mhm.
So this position is for the Parks and Recreation Board to fill this position, correct?
Yeah, these are for the, all of these boards are citizens who have stressed the desire to serve our community. And so the Parks and Recreation Board is one of those boards.
So, not filling those boards would result in what in our community? What would it stop, or what would it help if we fill those positions?
Well,
That's a question.
Well, the appointments to public safety is just that. This board has a responsibility to, number one, help create the city emergency safety plan.
I thought,
Also, one of
point of
their
order.
responsibilities.
Point of order.
I just
A
had a
question
comment.
was asked, we're in discussion.
No, point of order. She asked about the Parks and Rec. You're talking about public safety.
I thought she
Parks-
asked about
Parks
both.
and-
Yeah, and okay, the Parks and Recs,
Okay.
that board is responsibility for helping form programs, decide what programs are being offered in the rec center. Also, ideas about the upkeep, help with the upkeep and what programs can be offered to our citizens involving our parks. Also, they become an arm for our director, he's on, for Jimmy to help not only come up with the programs, but help with volunteering for the programs when we need volunteers. Because what we've done, the Parks and Boards and Youth Commission will be working together.
Would this also enact some of the programs that were in Bell Fountain before, they're not here now? That's a service that we could also, if I'm just asking, would this be a service that would be offered to the community in Bell Fountain
Of course, because they will
through
be
this position?
volunteer, but create and maintain those programs, yes. Any other questions? Any other questions before we move on to the vote? Okay, it has been moved and second. Madam Clerk?
Alderman Warnes,
No.
Alderman Hester,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
No.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
No.
Alderman Dales,
no,
Alderman Smith,
no,
Mayor, 5 no, 1 yes.
Yes. And so what I want to do, because we do have citizens who came to see if they were going to be appointed, I don't want them to leave disappointed. I want to let them know that they can still meet as a group under concerned citizens and still come along side of our director, which we've already had one meeting, and we will move forward as concerned citizens. These are citizens who want to serve. And it's up to our board to allow them
Mayor,
to.
you're on mute, or we lost your voice.
No. Can you hear me now, everybody? Okay, I just wanted to encourage the citizens who have come again with the hopes that the board would appoint them to allow them to serve. But I want to say to the citizens who are in this room and online who came with the hopes that the board will approve them serving, that you need no one's approval to serve. You can still meet as concerned citizens under these boards to get things done and still offer your service. We don't have to put you up under boards or commissions. It'll be up under concerned citizens. So I apologize for you again coming and not being allowed to serve in the capacity that you've asked your government to allow you to serve in. I just wanted that for the record. New business, if we can go to.
You skip planning and zoning.
Oh,
you have to do that. That's number C.
Proceed.
And Alicia has her hand up.
I can wait. I was just going to rebuttal and reiterate some things that I can do it at the end. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So appointments to the planning and zoning. May I have approval for appointments to planning and zoning? Okay, we don't have a motion, so that motion fails. Those who are present that are presently serving on planning and zoning, I want to encourage you to still do so. And we appreciate your sacrifice and your service. Okay, new business.
May I speak, Mayor? I'm sorry.
Yes, you may.
I want to apologize to the public and those that are currently serving, as well as those that would like to serve, for myself. And I'm speaking strictly for me. I'm one person. My nose, and not that I know I owe anyone an explanation, but a lot of times we leave the meetings and citizens want to know. For myself, I've read the ordinances. I'm learning a lot of things that we were doing were not correct, such as, and I'm just going to give this as an example, the Youth Commission I used to serve as the chairperson. I recently found out the Youth Commission ordinance does not state that they were to receive a stipend. And so a lot of those things, you know, we need to vote on. We need to bring it back to the board to say, hey, are we going to give the stipend? Are we not? There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes in regards to the ordinances, in regards to you guys serving and continuing to serve. Me personally, I have a lot of questions in regards to those that are currently serving. Some of the applicants have reapplied, but some of them haven't. So, you know, are they supposed to reapply? When I read the ordinances, some of them say yes, some of them say no. So how are you to vote? Those are questions that we as a board need to discuss. Thank you, Mayor.
And you're welcome. And you're absolutely right, Woman Smith. That's why I have purposely sent out information 2 and 3 weeks before a meeting. The information for the boards and commissions, this is the 3rd time we've gone through this. So you all had the information and those questions that you bring up now are valid, but you know, to have this information for several weeks and still not, you know, come up with a decision or call and say, hey, Mayor, we need to talk about this before we again have citizens appear with the assumption, because no one said anything different, that they were going to be put up for appointment to see if the board would approve them. But that's something else we can discuss. I just want all this on the record because information has been sent out weeks ahead of time to help you guys make those decisions. And we get to a meeting and it's all shady or different, or there's questions, which is good. But I would ask that you take the information that we have sent out way ahead of time. And if you have questions, just pick up the phone and say, hey, can we talk about this? And that way we won't keep having citizens coming and not moving forward. Alderwoman Dales.
Okay, and I would like to say to all of those, it's not that we don't want the commissions. I would encourage everyone that applied, go onto the website and read the ordinance. We have to correct some of the ordinances. And we made a motion at the last meeting, and it's currently in the minutes, that we only want to pay the bills and get onto the budget. But it was looked over. And so we had to amend the agenda, and we decided that since we're not being listened to, we'll vote it down and we won't have to worry about it coming back up until we fix the ordinances. So it's nothing against the people that want to serve. If you understand some of the things in the emails that go back and forth, which is not, the public isn't privy to unless you do a sunshine request, everyone knew that we did not want to have a lot of this on the agenda. And we asked, and we asked, and we asked. So go and read the ordinances, understand what they mean, and we do have to make some corrections to some of them. So it's not that we don't want you to serve. We do want you to serve. We just want to make sure that it's right before we do a point. And we also have to renew the current ones that we have before we get into another lawsuit.
Well, I would encourage the board to take the opportunity, because it's been a couple of months, to take the opportunity to do just what you said you want to do. Go ahead and amend it. You guys have had this information since May. So we won't belabor. Okay, I didn't miss anybody's hand. Okay, now we're going down to F. No, I'm sorry. Under new business, resolution for the park. Can I get a motion that we vote for the resolution for the parks grant?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we vote to for the resolution for the parks.
May I have a second, please?
I second it.
Any questions or discussion?
Is Jimmy on?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I am.
Hold on. Let's go in order. Alderman Thomas. That's okay. That's okay. Alderman, he left. Okay, there you go. Alderman Thomas.
Yeah, Jimmy, this resolution isn't binding us to any money at this point. It's just saying that we want to enter into the application. And I also understand that we have to appropriate a certain amount of money, I think 15% of the total for the within the budget in order for the application to be accepted.
That is correct. The resolution.
Go ahead.
That is correct. The resolution. Okay, that is correct. The resolution does not say that you are going to, it shows support for the project. That's all the resolution does. It says that the city is supporting the project, and I'm not acting on my own by submitting this grant application without the city's support. It does not guarantee that we would get the money, and it does not mean that if we are awarded, something happens catastrophic in October, the money is not active till January. It does not mean we have to go forward with the project at that time. And the 15% is correct. That was put in the 2023-2024 budget to meet that. We get additional points on the grant application that raises your chance of getting the application. You don't have to have the 15% match, but it does show support for the city. But if you don't have the match, you'll lose points on your application.
Okay, and I just want to clarify, we do have to have our budget complete for this grant. Is that correct? Yes or no?
That is correct, because the amount we are going for was listed in the 2023-2024 budget. In 2022-2023, we had a 15% match in there for the grant we applied last year, but it was only $300,000. So we would not have the correct amount listed in our budget So the 2023, 2024 budget will need to be passed in order for us to, and that's by August 27th, I believe, in order for us to submit the application on time.
Yes, Alderwoman Hester, and then Alderwoman Smith. Guys hear me? Alderwoman Hester?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was my turn or not. Okay, so is that deadline this year, August of this year
Yes,
for the application?
correct.
Okay.
So the
Do we have
timeline
any-
is, oh God.
Is there any, have we already have bids for the project?
We do. I got bids for the shelter and the pavilion. So the project
Okay.
is to renovate the pavilion and bathroom at Tanglewood Park. This is going to be the same facilities that we installed at Bissell in 2018.
Okay, and is the grant, is that a reimbursement? We from the grant will be reimbursed for the work that we've done in the park?
On your application, you can do it two ways. You can submit your application with a showing hardship, where they will approve it, where you can they'll make the payments directly to the company if the city cannot pay out ahead of time, or we can get reimbursed. What we chose to do in the last 2 years, the first year we got showed hardship and we were reimbursed, or they paid the bills, and then in the last year we just paid them and we've been getting reimbursed.
Okay, how many
So it's
points
really
are
local.
we? Okay, how many points are we at for that grant? Because I know the max is 10 points.
Well, it goes up higher than that.
Oh,
The max
really?
needs is, yeah, the max needs is that you get is up to 10 points, and that's developed by the grant commission. It's really depends on how many applicants are submitted each year, and then what the total amount is that the grant company has to give out. Shows where you're at. So we did get the grant the last 2 years, and so our needs dropped down. So we'll get 4 out of 10 points on that section, where in the past we got like 8 and 6 on that. So any points you can get increases your chances. When you're on that borderline, 1 point can be the chance, make or break getting the grant or not.
Okay, and then my last question, are we going for, was it the 300,000 for it, the work? For Tanglewood Park?
It was 420,000.
420,000, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what's the other question? Yes, Alderwoman Smith.
Thank you. So during our previous budget meeting, you stated the grant would be for the remodeling of Tanglewood Park's bathroom. Now you're stating it's the bathrooms and the pavilion. So will it be both?
Yes, I was planning to submit the application for both, since they're both within budget.
Okay, then do we have the 15% match? You stated that the grant itself is in the budget, but the 15% match is not. Is that correct?
When I talked to Rick last time, I believe, and he can confirm that if he's on, but he stated that he did have the 15% match in there, because that's when we had our budget meetings that was brought up, and he was able to get that in there.
That's correct. If everyone looks on page 19 of the ARPA budget, it's under the Recreation Center. It specifically states park grant match 15%. What was budgeted was 63,000, which is exactly the 15% based on the numbers Jimmy has read into record tonight. So it is in the ARPA budget, page 19.
Any other questions? Alderwoman Smith, you still have a question?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Your hand, okay. Are there any other questions before we move on to the vote? Okay, City Clerk, would you call the roll again, please?
Alderman Warnes,
The issue failed. Alderwoman Warnes, the motion is for the grant resolution. You're muted.
Was it my turn? I'm sorry.
okay. Let's go to Alderwoman Hester. I'll come back.
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
You're on mute, Alderwoman.
Yes.
Alderman
Can you hear me?
Gales? Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Warnes,
Yes.
Mayor, motion passed.
Move down to F. I'm not missing anything. Oh, additional money under new business D. May I have a motion to approve additional money for tree removal?
I make a
Mayor?
motion.
Oh,
I'm curious. I would like to make the motion, but how much money?
Well, we don't have an estimate because that's been hard to do because of the amount of damage. What we have done, because it was essential, we contracted with Davy Tree Service, who we paid $2,500 to help us clear what's been cleared so far. They will be coming back out tomorrow to help us. So it's been $2,500 a day for 3 men, a chipper and truck, along with our park staff and our public works staff. So it was hard for us to give a number. If you need a number, I would say Director Karinich has been leading this for us. If it's gonna take us another, probably, I don't know, Director, how many days you think it'll take us to try to clear the essential debris up?
Yeah, I've been out there. My park guys helped out with the street department on Monday, and it's there's a lot of debris picked up from mostly to the people just adding branches to piles. As they see us going down the street, they pull out the stuff from the backyard and add it to it, which makes it even more for us to pick up. Davies Tree Service was out there today. They did a good job hitting a lot of streets, but they also too ran in that same situation of people bringing stuff out after the fact they went down that street. They're going to be out here tomorrow. Ward 3 got hit really hard, as you can know, driving around there, all down Bell Fountain and on both sides. Tomorrow, if you wanted to do an additional day, I mean, that would help out the street department guys. They've had 2 guys down there this whole week. And so just any help they can get would be much appreciated. I know that.
Now, how many days you
If you wanted to do 3 would be ideal, I guess. That would put you at what, 7,500? Or if you wanted to do 2, it'd be 5,000. And that would be for yesterday and today, or today and tomorrow.
issue I want to share with, and I did with the board, that we have seemingly healthy trees that are now falling that were diseased. And because of that pressure, they're falling. We have no idea which ones, when, where. That's why we put an alert out on our website as well as Facebook and Nextdoor, because we want people to be cognizant when they're driving, when they're walking down our streets. We can't say what's gonna fall. So we did go out Friday with a tree arborist who was able to identify some of the tree pests on our trees, the city trees. We need to start cutting some of those down. A lot of them that he identified, he said, Mayor, the next storm, this one, that one, that one, that one, that one is gonna fall. All of them failed except for one. And that was just the worst ones. We have 75 trees that our city needs to take down. So I want to encourage the board to consider appropriating the funds, not from our general fund, but from the Harper funds, because we've looked into that and that it can be used for that under safety. We've already checked. So again, I'm sorry, I don't have a number, but if we can just get the trees off the streets and off the sidewalks and get most of them picked up, I'm going to acquiesce to Director Kennerich.
Mayor, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay, and say 3 days worth. So that would be 7,500.
I'll make a motion, but I'll make a motion to approve $7,500 for tree removal from the storms.
And I'm sorry, Alderman Thomas, I didn't do it properly. We need 3 additional days. We've already contracted them for 2, which is 5,000, Director. So it'll be additional.
Correct.
7,500.
So you saying, so Jimmy, you saying you need 3 more days? Or you saying you need 2 more days?
I mean, there is a lot, and like with the street department only having 2 guys right now down there, anything you guys are willing to do would help them out tremendously.
So
and there is a lot out there.
So if we give you 3 more days, you think that that'll be enough?
Yes, that would put them into a spot where they can manage the rest of the city and stay on top of it.
Okay, all right. I would stand on my motion for $7,500 to remove the trees that have fallen.
Thank you. May we have a
Second.
Madam Clerk, did you hear the voice? I don't know who's second.
It was actually Teresa and Regina.
Okay, we'll put you down. Any
However-
questions? I see hands up for questions. Alderwoman Dale is your first.
President Thomas, is it possible, since we're using the ARPA money, that we can add, that we can make it 10,000 or at least 15, so they can just keep going? I mean, if the board would agree to that, I was gonna suggest that we're using the ARPA funds. What they don't use, they can put back. So can we open up 20 and let them just, clear them all out? If that's okay with the board.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
I would I'll rescind my motion since it hasn't been voted on.
Right.
And I will make it for 20,000
And
for tree removal to continue until the funds are exhausted or the trees are gone, whichever comes first.
So next, we need clarity. So is that to continue to contract it out with Davy Tree?
Yes, if that's the one that's charging us $2,500 a day.
Okay, a day. Can I also ask the board to consider approving money to hire 2 additional laborers in our street department? We took that off.
Now I think we
I thought we hired someone.
yeah.
The code enforcer, a laborer.
No, this was strictly in, if I can name names, this was in Jeff's department.
Yes.
He
But we
had
still
already, he had an additional head count. What happened to those employees?
Not just with the storm.
Right,
Definitely.
no, I totally understand. That's what I'm trying to understand. He had hired these additional people. Or are they no longer with us is my question.
No, the ones that were hired are still here. And that's a good point, Alderwoman Smith. The departments all are short. And so hiring the additional one, the ones that he hired, was just bringing him up to only having 1 or 2. So the ones he hired gave him a good benchmark, because the Parks Department is helping the street department. We still need additional staff all through government. And so we need 2 more in the street department. And that's why I wanted to clarify, we're going to continue to contract with Davy Tree, which would be fine, but we still need 2 additional laborers in the street department. That's in the budget too. That's in the new upcoming budget as well. But I'm asking that we do have room, and I think our treasurer is still online, to hire those 2 additional people now under the old budget.
So before we go any further with that, we had hands up. And mine was up for, you guys were talking about Davy Tree and the amounts and things like that. So I don't want, I mean, me personally, can we not go forward without, the questions being asked first?
Right.
And it was others that had their hands raised before me, so I don't want to speak out of turn.
Administrator Terry Casey just helped me out. We have 2 laborers out on sick leave. And we're gonna leave it there. That's something else we can discuss in a closed session. But Alderwoman Hester?
Okay, just a real quick comment. There is definitely something going on with the trees because just real quick, my flower bushes have no flowers practically all year. So there's definitely something going on with the trees. They're dying. Second, the trees that are being removed, is that from the storm? And for the 3 days that you need, Jimmy, or you guys need in the Public Works Department, would that be the 75 or whatever, 20,000 now, I guess, needed in order to take care of that? And then lastly, I think there was there's a grant out there that we could possibly tap into, a tree grant to take care of the trees, hopefully. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman. Yes.
I was just gonna say, it's 9:07.
Hey, let's go.
And and I'll be making another motion that our next meeting will be budget and the paying of the bills.
Okay.
All right.
So let's, Alderwoman Dales, did you have anything to add before we vote on this motion that you made?
I do. We added, when we took the city administrator out potentially, so it won't be said at the pool that I'm trying to bring the city down. When we took that out, we thought about 3, it's just the rumors that I'm getting. We put 3 additional workers in for public works. So that's why we want to work on the budget, because we got to kind of wiggle things around. We got to get the people in place in specific places for the citizens. And then we may be able to come back to the administration staff. And we need people in the administration staff too, but we already have those 3 positions we added those in the Public Works Department. So we're just gonna, if we can get through this budget.
Yeah, because we need assistant finance director, if feds come in here now.
They have on the record that we asked for a temp service and it was denied. So that's one thing that we can say.
Yeah, that's counterintuitive, and you're correct. Yes, so if you want to continue with your motion, Autumn Thomas, you rescinded your motion, correct? And you want to now speak out the full motion so we can put forth a second and then a vote.
I believe Alderman Smith had a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know she still had her hand up from last time. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Green, thank you for your comment, because that's what I was going to speak on. I live on 367, or off of, my home is adjacent behind the old Dollar General on 367. And there are multiple of trees that were down on that property that is vacant now. Myself, along with the mayor of Jennings, I had to contact, but Ameren came out and they cut back some of those trees. Are we not at liberty to contact the forestry division of Ameren to utilize some of that and see what they can do? I'm not necessarily disputing the amounts, but what else and what other avenues do we have? And then to your point, Mayor, I think it was myself who contacted you personally to discuss some of my home is full of trees. So I had branches that fell on my roof. I had my neighbor's trees that came down. So I'm with you guys when you guys talk about trees and things like that really, really quick. But some people just pulled the huge long logs of branches to the street and read the ordinance about the putting your branches at the curbside. And then when the streets department came, they weren't collected because they were too big. I, along with my neighbors, had chainsaws that cut down some of the trees that were on my property, to cut them, to put them in the yard waste, so waste management could come get those. So that's a help as well. That's my question and comment. Can we contact Ameren to see what they can do to assist the city?
Well, we have contacted Ameren as well as a plethora of other cities. Ameren, we were already working with them. Clayton Klein, the city engineer, Director Ross, and I, about putting together a plan. And they were just looking at, they have a tree schedule for every city, when they're gonna trim trees back. Ours wasn't until next year, but we were working on them bringing us up a little bit because of the issue. So another phone call was made actually today. And because of the storms, you know, everybody is now clamoring. So that we were working on is kind of on the table now, because what they're doing is getting those essential trees that are covering the lines, the ones that are left, because they had a lot of trees that they hadn't trimmed. And so they're automatically are going to be trimming, what we were told, going to be trimming trees, limbs that have been leaning over their power lines because of the storm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, where are we? Because it is 9:12. So we had a motion, Alderman Thomas, and then Alderwoman Elise Dales asked that we would amend it to the 20. You rescinded yours. And now can we have a second on the amendment of, did we settle on a number though? We didn't settle 15.
I said 20.
20,000.
20,000.
That will come from the
I second.
ARPA funds. Okay, will come from the ARPA funds. We want to clarify that, and it has been second. So any more discussions before we vote and go home? Okay, all in favor, call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Warren,
Yes.
Alderman Hester,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Mayor, passed.
Okay, real quick, it's time to go home. I do want
I
to say
make-
real quick.
Mayor, I'd like
Yeah.
to make a motion.
Okay, but before that motion, I want to give a holler out. We had an historical event here in our city. The city of Bellefontaine Neighbors, for the first time in our history, was the host to the semi-annual swim meet. That's a big thing for us. They're still out there. That's why I'm here with citizens behind me who wanted to be on Zoom. But it's still going on. We have 4 teams out there. So I want to commend Director Kunrich and Martha Sneed and the coaches and our swim team. We have a fabulous swim team. So that's all I wanted to say. Now you can make a motion.
Wait a minute, we Mayor, you know, we left the Diana.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do that. That's still on the agenda.
Yes. Did you guys get an email earlier?
We did, and I'd like to ask the attorney about that.
Is she still here? Attorney White Coleman?
Yeah, she's still here.
Yes, I am
Is this a
here.
question that we do openly, or is this a closed session question?
What question are we referring to?
Concerning the liquor license for Conoco.
What is the question?
Okay, we received an email from the code enforcer. The code enforcer, it wait a minute, let me bring it up, hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, she asked us to read section 3-2 for coin-operated dispensing machines. Now, currently, they do have, okay, she said, I wasn't where there are several gaming machines in the establishment. That is not indicated in section 2-3. Application on that to the board.
You broke up a lot. What was the last?
I'm sorry. Did you
Either
hear
one.
me? Did you hear me?
Well, no, you broke up. I couldn't hear the end of what you said, Alderwoman Dills. Hello?
I can speak for her if she can't be heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
she keeps free.
We received an email from the code enforcers that stated that there are 2 gaming machines at the location of the Conoco. According to the code enforcers, the ordinance states that the gaming machines violate our ordinance. However, the gaming machines aren't mentioned in that ordinance. And I don't think that we have an ordinance against gaming machine.
We don't.
No, go ahead, Mayor. I'll let you address that since we've already talked about it.
May I?
We just actually, I don't have it turned to it.
And Mayor,
Elise,
Yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Yes, the
Yeah.
code enforcer is on the line.
There is an
Can the
ordinance
attorney open
that
her
the
up?
mayor and I
Mayor-
have talked about that addresses gaming.
May I speak for 1 second? It's Felicia. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, what happened was that one ordinance, if you look at it, you should have the part where it references. I thought I sent you guys another copy. It relates back to another ordinance that one piggybacks off of, that states gaming machines aren't allowed within our city limits. The part that you have, if my memory serves me correctly, it states that there are no gaming machines to be in an establishment, coin operated machines, where there is alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages being sold in the establishment. But it piggybacks off, I can't think of the ordinance off the top of my head. But we're not, though, gaming machines aren't allowed in our city limits. So that's why I put that out, because my suggestion was that if Conoco is asking for a liquor license, because our ordinance states that gaming machines aren't allowed within our city limits, that would be a probable cause for us to deny the liquor license until they remove the gaming machines and then have them resubmit for a liquor license.
Ordinance number 19, board. It's ordinance 19, if you want to look it up real quick.
Yes.
Okay, I had a question. Is the owner, he was on earlier, is he still here? Is the owner of Conoco still on this Zoom call?
No, I don't see.
Okay, so my question would be, since we have that information, that he be contacted and made aware of the ordinance.
Yes, and that's possible. He actually should have been made aware of the ordinance when he got his application. I don't know if he was or not, but yeah, we can make sure, the office can make sure that he gets a copy of the ordinances, the complete ordinance.
So I make a motion to table his application at this time.
I second.
Moved and second that we, I'm sorry,
That we table
that the table, okay,
the application.
I was reading, thank you, that we table the application. Any other questions?
Can you give me that ordinance again, please? You said
It's
19.
ordinance, yes, 19, ordinance.
Okay.
19.
In chapter 3.
It is.
It's bill number 21, ordinance number 19, which went.
What section? Is that section 3 of 19?
It is.
Nope, it is
19
prohibiting gaming. It is, I can copy, cut and paste it to you. It's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, section 3.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
319,
Okay,
21.
okay,
Okay,
19-40 or 19.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Okay, it has been moved and second. No more questions. All in
I
favor?
do have, I have one question. So
Go
my,
ahead.
and we can table this, it's fine. But my question is for those that already have a license who has gaming, what happens to those? Maybe that's a question for the attorney at a later time.
Yeah, it is. And since we now have a code enforcer, that's a good question. And that's the challenges we're running into, Autumn.
Oh, yeah, because
Good
for me,
question.
that's discriminatory.
Exactly. And that's what my concern was. And that's why I made you guys aware of it, because we need to start working together to get everything on one accord. So there's just one set of regimented rules across the board for everybody.
So my question to you would be, do you go and snatch their license?
To be honest, what I would like to do is actually go and let them know gaming devices aren't allowed per our ordinance. So what we're going to do, I actually can serve them with a 3-day notice to remove the gaming machines or face the potential revocation of their liquor license. That would be something that I feel that the board, the mayor, and myself would need to sit down and discuss how you guys would really want me to handle that. Because being that there are some things out of sync, I don't want to just make my own determination on it and it be something that everyone is in agreement on. It's not in agreement on. I would feel more comfortable if we all could sit down and move it forward in the same direction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This is Dorothy. I wanted to point out too that section 3-28 of Article 2 of Chapter 3 specifically states that the Board of Aldermen may, at the time of granting any license under this article, as a condition thereof, require the applicant to observe such reasonable requirements in the conduct of the business thereunder at the location named as may be necessary in the opinion of the board. So when these liquor licenses are granted, those conditions can be specified. But in the meantime, I believe the process that Felicia has articulated is a good one to follow. The board, the mayor, and the code enforcers should be on the same page in terms of how to address those who are not in compliance currently.
We vote on the last thing. Okay, let's vote on tabling item F under 9 new business until further investigative work.
I make a motion to table F. I can't, what's the number? F9 for new business. In regards to the liquor license for the Conoco station.
Can I get a second?
A second. I can't hear you.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Alderman Warnis?
Yes.
Alderman Hester?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward?
Yes.
Alderman Dales?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor, motion passed.
Thank you. Now, may I have a
Mayor, I would like to make a motion that the next meeting of the Board of Aldermen, that meeting consists of the budget and the paying of the invoices.
I second.
Any questions? No questions? All in favor, Madam?
I have a question. I'm sorry. Can someone please provide me the date that we will be able to have a special meeting to pay today's bills. We need that like ASAP.
Yeah.
But we need to go on and take care of this motion first. and
Yeah,
then-
I agree. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
I second.
Second, any more questions for the present motion that's on the floor? No questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Mornis,
Yes.
Alderman Hester,
Yeah.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, motion passed.
Thank you. Real quick, Alderwoman Smith, go ahead and put forth your motion for the bills, please.
I would like to make a motion that we have a special meeting to pay and discuss the bills of June 26th through July 17th, 2023. Can everyone agree on a date tonight? If possible, please.
On Zoom.
On Zoom, that's fine.
The next date that will be available would be either Friday the 28th or Monday the 31st, because you got to give 7-day notice. I mean, in the mail.
Because you got to mail it.
Forgot about that. Sorry, I was thinking tomorrow.
I mean, we can pay the bills and then go into closed session, because that's the day that we're going to be doing the legal matters.
Yeah.
So how about the 27th? That's the soonest we can do it. That's 7 days. July 27th. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Now, is
We'll have time to get the
Gotta
mail
ask
out.
city clerk.
That's my birthday. I don't want to be, okay.
Sorry, city clerk, no ma'am.
Can we do it
All
on
right.
the 31st?
Let's can we do it on the 31st and do all of it at once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. The 31st works for me.
Yeah. And
So
it's
I'm
gonna be Zoom.
Zoom.
Now, okay, Attorney Coleman, can we do a closed session via Zoom?
Oh.
Yes, the board can do a closed session via Zoom.
Oh, we can? Okay,
Yes,
okay. Even discussing the legal matters?
yes.
Okay,
Those matters can be discussed in closed session.
okay. So it's up to you all if you want it Zoom or in person.
And we paying the bills on the 31st, right?
Yes, ma'am. Because
Okay.
they already late.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
Okay, let's make.
I'm
we got a
free on the
second for it?
31st. I'm available.
Okay, for the motion that during the closed session, on the 31st, we do bills and legal matters via Zoom. Are we doing Zoom, everybody?
Yes.
Okay,
Good
can I
with
have a
that.
second? Can I have a second?
A second.
Okay, any questions?
I have-
Madam Clerk, oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Thomas, you had a question? You're muted.
I don't think we can pay the bills in a closed session. We can pay the bills and
Can.
then go into closed.
Yeah,
session.
that's what I'm saying. We
Yeah,
can
but
do
it
it.
wasn't said that way.
Okay,
Oh,
All right.
okay, for clarification, we're gonna have two meetings on the 31st.
Mhm.
One open meeting for the budget, correct? And then we'll have
Yeah.
the second meeting.
One
closed
open meeting to pay the
session.
bill.
Bill.
Yeah, to pay the bills, and the second one for the legal matters via Zoom. What time are we starting?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? All righty. The motion has been put on the table. Second, please.
I second.
Okay, any more questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Alderman Warnis,
Yes.
Alderman Hester,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Smith.
Yes, and thank you, board.
Mayor, motion passed.
Thank you. Now, who wants to make a motion that we can leave?
I make a
Mayor, I
motion
will-
to adjourn.
Second.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, just everybody say bye.
Bye.
I want to encourage you all, anybody that's close. I know the citizens in here are going to the swim meet. It's still happening, y'all. If y'all want to come down, I'm going. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Everyone for coming.